Welcome back. No matter how educated a home buyer might be, there will almost always be something that pops up during the home buying process that they didn't know. And on today's HomeWise, we're going to look at some of the most common things that home buyers don't always think about. Joining me now is mortgage expert Tyler Osby. Tyler, today we are talking about things that people might not know until after they jump into the financing, after they're moved into the house already.
Yep.
So behind garage door number one, we're going to start with that financial piece a little bit. So what are some of the things that you have found that people don't sometimes know about or think about?
Yeah, well, closing costs are the big thing, right? Because every loan's different in how you set it up. Sometimes the way it's proposed, maybe with an online calculator, isn't an accurate representation of how it is in real life. Everybody just thinks about down payment. They don't think about all the other pieces that go into what check you have to write at closing.
Yes.
So along the same lines are things like property taxes, setting up the escrow account if you have an escrow account, and homeowners insurance. A lot of times you got to pay the first year up front at closing, and people just don't factor that in when they're budgeting for at least the check at closing.
Yeah, they just don't think about it.
Right.
So these are some of the financial things. Let's talk about the property itself and some of the property expenses that maybe people aren't thinking about ahead of time.
Well, when you own the place, you got to take care of it, right? So if the toilet breaks, that's your responsibility. There's just a lot of miscellaneous, maintenance stuff that comes up. So that's something you got to consider. Utility bills, a lot of people don't think about, but it's actually easier than people think. You can literally call the utility company and get a budget billing and 12-month average, so you can budget for it.
Nice.
Other repairs, things that may not need to be immediately fixed, but you kind of know buying it. There's some things that need to be repaired. Those are the sorts of things you want to make sure you kind of budget for as immediate or longer term expenses that you're budgeting for.
I've heard examples, everything from, remember, if you have a lawn, you're going to want a lawnmower. You're going to have to pay somebody to do it. Or if you have a water heater, those are going to break down after so long. So just things to think about. So that's for property expenses. So our last garage door, garage number 3, something that homeowners might not know about or think about is just the vibe of the place they're moving into. So what advice would you have as far as that goes?
Well, know the vibes are good, as the kids talk, right?
Yeah.
You got to understand the neighborhood. Sometimes, what you know from being there, but maybe you're not familiar with the place. Suggestion I always make is, if you have the time, maybe revisit the neighborhood at a different time of day, kind of walk the neighborhood. You'll get a really good vibe of what you think of the area. Sometimes you don't take into consideration how that location impacts your lifestyle, whether it's travel to work, other activities that you have, children's activities, that sort of thing. And then there's even things like just rules and different things that apply to different neighborhoods. Sometimes you have HOA rules, sometimes city have different regulations. Maybe you want to have chickens. Well, can you have chickens in this neighborhood?
Right.
That sort of thing. Just things that if you don't ask the questions, you may not know until it's too late. And once you own a property, these are things that you can't necessarily easily change.
You can't rewind that. All right, Tyler, thank you so much. If you would like to share what you have learned today, or maybe check out some of our other HomeWise topics, and we've got about 55 of them out there, be sure to visit who13.com.